All right, Professor Corey. So this week I wanted to show off that I made these intricate little bolts that are inside here. And what what's interesting about the method that uh, I'm using to place these bolts is that these are placed basically um, on points that are dynamically connected to uh, an extrusion node. And so, like in this extrusion node, you have an inset level. So I can go ahead and come into here, and like I can dynamically move these around just by playing with what the inset level is. Um, and then the other thing that's cool is that if I come down to the object that the bolts are actually like connected to, I have this thing called resample. So it takes like the face that I was connecting to, and I resample with how many verts that I want. And so here's like the segments. Well, that's really segments rather than verts, but it places the bolts on the verts. So right now I have 10, but if I want to put in 20, I can just add, I can add 20, or if I wanted to do 5, I can do 5, and now there's 5 bolts. And so it's really cool for look development. You can have exactly the amount of bolts you want and change it within just seconds. So that's part one of this week's. Okay, continuing with some pieces and distribution. This is another piece that I built, and the interesting thing is the distribution patterns. Again, it's procedurally created, so I can come up to here before I even did that, and you see everything disappears because I'm flagging state earlier. So here's the actual piece, and then the same bolts that I used before are actually distributed down here using a set of verts here, and of course, depending on this number that I give to this, actually the number of verts would be up here. You can just add number of verts, resample it. You can start, going like that and going with as many as you want, and it's really convenient to add tons of detail really really fast. One of the things that I learned that really turned out to be very interesting is the way Houdini can handle these points here. So basically, from my original shape, I've extracted out some points, and then what you can do is actually you can group all the points together into their own separate groups. So each line of points has its own group, and then I can go ahead and make a curve from that point group. So that's what's happening right here. And then as I go down my stack, what I've done is I've carved out, this is called a carve node, and I've carved out these sets of points that were meeting at the proper place to place some of the details. So if we look at these over here, these are the plates that I made earlier. So these points will help with the distribution. And so if I decided that, okay, I want to come up here and let's look at the end product down here. Let's go ahead and bring that back up. I've got a few things hidden just for speed's sake. And then I can go back over here and I can look at those carve nodes that I was just on. And I can take this guy here and then I can start adjusting, how far in or out these things go. And so I can just move them like that. And you can see like it's a pretty cool way to distribute your items exactly where you want them to go, and then it's always changeable later. So it's almost kind of like a little machine that helps you place these things where you want them to go. It's very interesting. So the next thing I wanted to show was that I'm creating these wires. These are basically paths for the wires right now. But what I've done is on top of the wires, there's a basically what's called a VOP, and it's a turbulent noise VOP, and that's multiplied by some numbers here. But then I've promoted attributes that right here in my interface I can go ahead and like tweak out what these things look like. So especially if we turn the amplitude up, you can start messing around with it more. you start getting different looks, and of course the frequency I can bump this up to start changing how the wires look, and this so it's all procedural. And that's the next part I wanted to show. Okay, so continuing with the wires. Now what's happened is I put on a poly wire, and then I've also individualized each noise amplitude with offsets, so that way, if I want to play with how these noises look, no one is exactly the same. So you're getting variety, so it doesn't look all the same like it did before. So that's the next step of the wire construction. So just to show the beauty of the procedural modeling, so here's the wires that I made, and they're outside of the connector area, but this is what's kind of so powerful and cool about it, is that I can come in here into this circle, basically is driving the width of how far these wires are out from each other. So all I have to do is come into the uniform scale here, and I can just drag here, and then I can start dragging the wires so they go inside the connector. So basically it's almost like you're making a machine, like when you go in Maya and you adjust the parameters on your cylinder. Well, in this case, like, you kind of can drive those kind of parameters on everything, so that you can change the size of stuff really easily, and the art direction on it can be done later on at little cost. So this is the final look for this video. I'm going to post up another update really soon, because I'm making up for the work I missed when my grandma passed away. So I just wanted to show you, so there's been some materials applied, some more modeling's been done. These objects are almost procedurally placed, and they can be altered and even change the number of, so like the details going around the circle, and while I've shown a lot of the other stuff already, but that's some of the ads that's going on right now. So this is just taking a look, and I'll be building the bottom piece soon, and then a center piece inside of here. So alright, so I'll be probably sending you another one within a couple days.